In section 2-4C, you are going to write the equation of parallel and perpendicular lines. So it's very similar to what you did yesterday. The difference is that you're going to have to look at an equation and decide what the slope of your parallel or perpendicular line is that you're looking for. So, some key ideas. Parallel lines have the same slope. So, if you would draw two parallel lines, they're going to go up and over the same amount. They're never going to intersect. So they have the same slope. Now, perpendicular lines have slopes that are opposite reciprocals. So if you kind of think about it, if you have perpendicular lines, they're going to intersect at a 90-degree angle. So one is going to go up as the other one goes down. So one slope will be positive, the other slope will be negative. The exception to that would be if you have a vertical and a horizontal line. Okay, so let's fill in this table. If we have, note the slope of one line is 3, and we want to know the slope of the line that's parallel, let's just jump all the way over to here. Those would be the same. So 3 and 3, same. The slope of a line is 2/3. The slope of a parallel line would be 2/3. Slope of a line is -4. The slope of a parallel line would be -4. Now, if we want to do perpendicular, remember, as one line goes up, the other one goes down. So we need a negative or an opposite reciprocal. So remember, you can write 3 as 3/1. So we're going to do two things. We're going to flip and switch. And I'm just going to use a symbol for perpendicular. Okay, so now we're going to flip this, and we're going to switch the sign. So this would be -1/3. We're going to flip this and switch the sign. When I say flip, I mean take the reciprocal. So this is going to be 3/2, and that's negative. Now remember, this -4 we can put over 1. So we're going to flip or take the reciprocal, which makes it 1/4, and we take the opposite, switch the sign, so that changes from a negative to a positive. Okay, so now that you have that, we want to write the equation for a line. Now, yesterday you were given a slope, or you had to find a slope. Today you're going to be given either a line that's parallel or a line that's perpendicular. So what I want you to do, parallel lines have the same slope. So what that means is the slope of the line that we're looking for is 5. And now we don't want to use this -3. The reason is that's the y-intercept. Parallel lines are not going to have the same y-intercept. This is just extra information. The only thing that we want is slope. So please cross that off, because I always have students who try to use that. Okay, this is our slope. Remember, that's the m. And we go through 1/4, so that's our xy. So we know the slope of our line is 5. And we're also using, so we have 1/4, so our xy, x is 1, y is 4. We're going to go back to y equals mx plus b. We're going to find our b, because the two things that we need, the name tells us, we need the slope and the y-intercept. So y is 4, slope is 5, x is 1. So this is going to give us 4 equals 5 plus b. And if we subtract 5 from both sides, we end up with b equals -1. Now remember, that's not the equation for the line. We have to go back to y equals mx plus b, substitute 5 for our slope, and -1 for our y-intercept. So we get y equals 5x minus 1. Okay, now the second example, very similar, except now we have perpendicular. So now we want the opposite reciprocal. So here's our line. We're going to cross off the y-intercept again. Don't use the y-intercept. The only thing that this line is giving you is the slope, or information to find the slope of the line that you're looking for. So we need to take the opposite reciprocal. So if it's 1/2, we're going to do -2. All right, and this is our x, this is our y, so we're going to do 2, -1. Again, y equals mx plus b. Once we write that down, we can just substitute the information and solve for b, because we need to fill in the slope and the y-intercept. So y is -1, m is -2, x is 2. So we are going to say this is -1 equals -4 plus b. When I add 4 to both sides, I end up with b equals 3. So now we fill in this value. Our slope is -2. Our y-intercept is 3, so our equation is y equals negative 2x plus 3. Okay, you have a couple questions to try on the bottom there.